Hello, I am Meredith Marshall, also known as She Who Seeks Knowledge. I am a tribal member of the Nanakot Lenai Lenape Nation, and we are broadcasting live from Netabankak in Lenape Hokan, my ancestral homeland. Our ancestors lived, hunted, and fished along the Delaware and Schuylkill rivers for thousands of years, long before European colonization. We have a deep spiritual connection to this territory, and our identity is inseparable from this land, and it is our duty to protect and preserve it for future generations. I acknowledge the historical injustices and trauma inflicted upon our people, including forced relocation, cultural suppression, and violence. Yet, we remain resilient and proud of our strong and beautiful heritage. By acknowledging our presence and our history, you honor our legacy and contribute to the long journey of reconciliation and healing. Let us work together to build a brighter future, one that respects and celebrates the rich diversity of Indigenous cultures and experiences. Wanishi, thank you.
I'm stretching and yawning, feeling grateful for the blessings that I have been afforded. God has really rewarded me, not just with material things, but with perspective. I eat it up like breakfast, cause I get the message. From now until you're resting with the stars, you'll always see the world not as it is, but as you are. Stay focused on raising your vibration, do the dopest. With every iteration, don't wait on change, provoke it. And when you're at your lowest, heart feeling is broken. Remember, contrast is important to your focus. How would you know which way to go without the diagnosis? And in your darkest hour, reach high. Word to my...
You're listening to 92.9 FM, WGGT LP, Germantown Radio, and available online at www.gtownradio.com.
Hey, great day. And we have another wonderful interview for you today. Again, this is the Save Our Ancestors radio show. I'm your host, Tavis Sanders, also known as Red Tail Hawk. I'd like to welcome our co-host.
I'm Meredith, also known as She Who Seeks Knowledge. Welcome.
Yes, and today we have a great interview for you today. We hope to be able to share some information with the public and support our Indigenous brothers and sisters all across the community. And so today we would like to introduce you to Brujo, who's a local Indigenous individual with a collective group and organization that's been here for a few years. And we would like the city to start to support some of the fantastic works that you do. So
longer than a few years.
Yeah, so Brujo, Kung, welcome, and please introduce yourself to the community.
Thank you so much for having me here, Travis and Meredith. It's a pleasure to share some time here with you. Artistically, my name is Brujo de la Mancha, which is kind of funny because it's a Spanish, thoroughly de la Mancha, like Spain, you know, from La Mancha, like Don Quixote de la Mancha and the Manchego cheese and all that stuff. But that's how we grew up from south of the border, you know, because the Spanish arrived there before the established knowledge of what happened as a colonization, right? So the Spanish arrived, they started taking over and other people came. So also, that's a nickname, but my name is Francisco Javier Hernandez Carbajal. If you want to add the other mixing that we have on this continent from different backgrounds of people, because the two last names that we carry on by the Spanish Catholic religion imposed that you need your father last name and your mother last name. And then, you know, coming up with what we're doing now, you know, people realize things like myself. I live here for almost 26 years in the United States. So with time, discovering myself again, migrating and knowing kind of where I'm from my people in Mexico, but not really 100%. Became to have a native name too around 2006, which is like the snake with the face on fire. Tletxayalcoatl. So yeah, as a self-discovery from what I do, who am I, and things that we talk related about indigenous, and we are, if you talk about like the Aztec point of view, we are the Fed generation, the Fed son that we're moving forwards, and you can talk about also the eagle and the condor and all these other prophecies and mythology. They some way somehow globalization is making a very I don't know, accessible and, and almost practical, but it was theory. And here we are now. Here I am on your show talking about, yes, indigenous things. Like that's what I said. That's how I introduce myself, because when you see me on the streets, depends, people could say you are Mexican, you maybe are Asian, you maybe look slash Arabic, or you maybe look as like Asian. Depends, because Mexico also is very mixed, and depends who you are. But I am descendant from the Tlaxcalan people, and attach myself to the Tlaxcalan people because my fraternal grandmother grew up in the mountains of Jico, Veracruz. Her name was Maria Antonia Carrizo Tlaxcalteco. And so Tlaxcalan people, Tlaxcalteco means people from Tlaxcala, which means the tortilla makers. And here I am, and yeah, so it's a pleasure, and it's a long story, and I think so a lot of you share something similar. A lot of people who maybe is hearing share something similar.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. And I just noticed the common threads of, the missionaries and the Catholicism being forced in us and losing our identity. But then also on the flip side, spreading the awareness that indigenous people of the Americas, those borders aren't ours and we're more closely related than not.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Interesting enough, too. Yeah. Also, with respects to your perspective on lookership and the realities that, we are in multicultural, right, or multi so-called racial collective as far as indigenous peoples are concerned. And so, please, allow our culture and our identity and our works to speak on behalf of, who I am and what I want to try to offer to my ancestors, right? And I think that that's something that you and your community does a lot. I would like to, I know that you, please, if you don't mind sharing some of your works, share, your organization, and maybe some of the events that you've participated in around the city in the last few
Okay.
years.
Well, thank you. So after my introduction goes to related to what I do as work, when I moved to Philadelphia around 1998, there was kind of like a blank era of Native activities in the city. And so when somehow, as a Native descendant, when I moved, you try to connect to who maybe you can relate in some way, somehow, even just through music, right? Or things, so you go and find your people. So nothing was here too much when I came. So years went by when around 2003, I met these other people from Puebla because the migration after 9/11 and other people leaving Mexico to United States because NAFTA, they also affect a lot of the native populations with the control of the seeds and the food and things like that. So meeting another elder here, we discuss about how people doesn't take any more awareness of pride, who they are. If it was hard where they come from, it's going to be so much harder here. So we start having an Aztec dance troupe with the idea that we are mixed or something, but we try to remove Catholic beliefs and go more to rediscover or talk about what the Spanish changed, like what we were before the Spanish. That's what I try to say. So our mission as Olin Yolistri Calmeca is to discover, talk about, and all that kind of things related about the Mexicayo culture, which is the native Mexican culture prior or before the Spanish arrived in 1492. So by meeting Daniel Chico Lorenzo, we started the Aztec dance troupe, the first Aztec dance troupe in 2003. And so on. We met other native people here, that we have been doing these powwows or celebrations that became to be the Philadelphia Indigenous People Day almost like 14 years ago. When we start our war as a Mexicans, and this got related to kind of what happened this past weekend or around these days on September 15, 16, people celebrate the Mexican Independence Day. And to me, in reality, if you did have an independence from La Nueva España, because at that time was called the New Spain, and you're still speaking Spanish, where you went with this independence. So it was mostly for the Spanish born on this continent to have some rights, because they did not have the same rights if you were not born in Spain. So by having these celebrations, it creates a double split of people's feeling and ownership and patriotic gains or something to who you are as indigenous related to that. So my organization does, if you hear the opposite of these festivals, so the Mexican Independence Day or so on. And that's why we create the Philadelphia Indigenous People Day celebration with Pocahontas, Bawanda, other people, but they were the main people. They already, we were having a powwow with other people that help here and there and things like that. But I think so was how Philadelphia was developing with the influence of these Mexican people, especially from Puebla and other descendant natives, and other people from more south of the border, right? Not just only from Mexico. So it becomes to be this huge new era.
Are you talking about the powwow that we used to have in West Philly with Pocahontas? The one
Yeah,
that
the
was
47 in Lancaster.
Yes, I've been to that one lots of times. And that was actually the first Indigenous Peoples Day celebration, even before some other organizations that are here and out in the city. That one has been long established as the Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yes, so I just wanted to make sure I acknowledge you and your
Yes.
works in helping our elders, right?
Keep
Other
it
women
going.
of the communities, not only establish it, but to continue it. And if I'm not mistaken, you've been hosting Indigenous Peoples Day with your community, but then also, bringing other Indigenous communities to the celebration down at Bartram Gardens for the last few years. Could you share that with us?
Yeah, as Meredith said, I think it's the same continuation of that powwow or something. But the idea was to make it a little bit more multi-native or pan-native, or include a lot, because as I understand, powwows are very, northern, but if we did have a celebration, if this is a celebration, it's only, many things could happen that day. And it's a continuation of the same, because I remember talking to Pocahontas and Bawanda, and I told her, like, listen, when we talk about statistics and so on, everybody's kind of losing, but people from south of the border, they don't have something when they come here. And if they don't have something to come here, also like we're not doing the work that we want to, or supposedly we should be doing about our brothers and sisters connections and exchanges and all. I was in Ohio a few years ago, and I was surprised how shells that were in the museum from the Mexican Gulf. So somebody went there or something happened, and this is we're talking about before borders. So that's what I try to say with this. These celebrations are to remember all these other things, and maybe elders in continuation, and keep going, because as I said, the city of Philadelphia was, slash dormant, and it was in a big change. And as you know, and it's still happening now, there is always a gap of 5-7 years when strong elders pass away, and then new generation comes and he maybe flips something and then he goes again. It's difficult because we are a little bit struggling with the 500 years of colonization, kind of post-traumatic stress disorder, and all the other problems that we carry on with our house, society, if we want to put now presidential elections and water and food, because we're still affected. People don't see us like, oh, we don't have to have a feather to be naked, I think, on the streets. People to let it know.
Right.
We have it, we have it on our face, we have it on our skin. It's not something that we're going to hide, like it does not matter what kind of clothing you have. You could have the traditional clothing, plus thank you so much for keeping that tradition alive.
Yeah.
But when you are out and you want to participate and you want to be that next doctor, I don't think so you're going with your traditional clothing to be that doctor.
Going in surgery with a headdress on.
Not going to work right. And so, I wanted to just, I want to say thank you, right, for bringing the art and the culture that you do bring and highlight at Indigenous Peoples Day celebration every year at Bartram Gardens. And I know that you also have a dance troupe that people also can call and ask you to come and, set that up with you as far as the business is concerned. I want to make sure that the listeners know that. But, I want to just, with respects to your Indigenous Peoples Day event coming up, I'd like for you to share the date, the time, and, give the audience an opportunity to come and see some of the dance that you have or some of the culture that you and the community like to share with us. It's definitely one of my favorite Indigenous Peoples Day celebration in the city.
Yes, it is.
And
it is my favorite.
And so please share that with us, the date, the time, the location, things like that.
Thank you for everything. This is October 13 from 11 to 5 p.m. The main entrance of Barton's Gardens, which is like 54 in Lindenberg, by the barn, right in front of the main barn over there when you enter there. There is going to be different type of vendors, maybe some services, something like all related to neighbors. There's going to be like native plants here and there, native fruits, displays, children's activities. We hope to have more than 3 or 4 dance groups. For sure, we will have a Northern Neighbor drummer company coming with us. Bawanda with Neighbor Nations Dance Theater Company. The Aztec Troupe, Olinjo Listrical Mecca, as I said, I was telling you, changed now. We are a non-for-profit, so that's how we can put these festivals. There is going to be another group too doing something they're going to confirm, but they have storytelling and other activities. But also we'll have in the barn, there's going to be a small art exhibition. We be the documentary playing here and there. And for first time, we hope, and I think it's confirmed, we're going to have a teepee standing there next to wherever is our ground in front of the barn and things like that. And it's going to be tortilla making display again, and you can buy your homemade corn tortillas there. There is going to be some type of food testing. We have also water talk about, because it's very important. And it's going to be a small talk about water because the festivals here in Southwest Philly, and there is some type of program about water and plants, and we want to introduce native plants to the area. So there is going to be many things on this celebration to come to see.
Yes, thank you so much, Brujo, for bringing this to our community and bringing awareness to, like I said, the multi-layered community groups and indigenous groups. We're not so different. We're not them versus us. We are working together to have a better future and educate our children.
Yes, thank you. And thank you so much. And so as we wrap this up, I wanted to make sure that they got your contact information. And so if you have a website or an email that you can share with us, and again, if I'm not mistaken, the event at Bartram's Garden, will it be free?
Oh yeah, always free, 100% free. It's a celebration. It's like a party, and that's why it's on the park. Anyone that's walking there, they don't even knew about it. It's like, oh, what happened? You know, and things like that. Like I have an idea to say going back to nature, and that's what we try to achieve with this celebration. We lost our main sponsor, but we're going to figure out how to do it. And this is what I said, the continuation of what Pocahontas and other people were doing, because we just grasping us as a neighbors in the idea of grants and skills to write down grants and ask for things, and like there also we have to educate our government to understand that we are not like that different, but also kind of slash different, but we eat the same. So that means we are kind of people the same. We eat corn and we eat potatoes. We are from here, you know, they eat tomatoes and all these things that make us unique. And this is the idea of the celebration. As I said, come to the park. Barton's has walks too. They have different plants there. It is a wonderful day to be there, and hopefully you guys do come there and maybe record something, make a little bit podcast there, or participate. All
Are
are
we
welcome.
going to have a table?
Yeah, we'll be there
We'll
for
be
sure.
there.
And so again,
Sounds wonderful.
So that's October 13th from 11 to 5 p.m. at Bartram Gardens down in Southwest Philadelphia. Please share your contact information.
Well, it's a little bit difficult because we use Nahuatl language, which is Olin Jolistli Kalmekak. I will need to send you the things so that you can have it later, but it's OLINYOLIC as a zebra, TLICALMACAC.org. That's our website. My name is Brujo at full name of the website.org. So it's Brujo at Olinjo Calmeca, or just put Aztec Dance in Philadelphia on Google and you will find us too. This is the 14th. That's why I track in it. This is the 14th annual Philadelphia Indigenous People Day celebration in the honor of all these people, Pocahontas, other people, Bear, remember Standing Bear? I know what other guy? Black Bear too.
Yes, Walking Bear and all the rest of the elders and the community that has shaped and helped and supported and participated, right? And I would like to thank you, you know, being one of the years our organization hosted one of the years, and when I was introduced to Brujo, and I'm very thankful that you were able to continue the tradition on. It's really important for us to be able to say 14th and 15th, and then be able to acknowledge those individuals. And so if you were interested in supporting, they definitely need your support. You know, again, Google Aztec Dancers in Philadelphia, or you can email us at acknowledgeourlands@gmail.com. You can go to saveourancestors.org, or you can search us at Save Our Ancestors on Instagram, and we'll be able to forward you Brujo's information where you can come and support. And again, the event is free. And so definitely we would love for y'all to bring out the children and come and support and come and check out some of this culture, right, that extends from the various indigenous peoples of the Americas. And so thank you again. You're listening to 92.9 FM WGGT-LP G-Town Radio, and you're listening at www.gtownradio.com. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Pleasure to be here.
All right, have a great one.